how long do you think it took you to actually find what your true passion is, which is probably what you're doing now?
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change this job and this work that I do for anything.
So how long did it take?
I think it started for me somewhere back in the late 80s, maybe. I just recognized that it was something about learning, right? It was something about learning for me and teaching. So what I could learn and what I could teach others. In fact, being in the right place at the right time with my technology business, I actually tried to offer courses around personal development using assessments like MBTI or DISC instruments. I would sign up through OpenU and teach courses at night. One of the things we joke about is at the start of Little Miss Sunshine, if you've seen that movie, there's a scene where the guy is this just cheerleader, motivational speaker. And he's like, you can be your best. And the camera pulls back and he's talking to like 4 people in a dingy old classroom, and that's exactly what I did. Literally teaching those courses at night to 3, 4, 5 people. I had more passion for that than for my day job with 50 employees, in the technology space where I was. And some people love that space, but I just recognized my space was this people development piece, and my passion was there. The good and the bad of that timing was in 1999, I took a trip to Africa with another author who I love, Richard Leiter. And he takes a group of 12 people, and for a month, you live with a hunter-gatherer tribe. You literally do nothing. You have no contact with the outside world, and it sort of empties out, who you thought you were and what you thought you did. And near the end of the trip, he starts to work with you to say, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I mean, literally for me, that trip was 3 weeks before my business crashed horribly. But on that trip, it was crystal clear to me, I'm going to get into the people development business. And I had just learned about this assessment and this model, but on that trip I said, that's the model I want to bring to the market. That's the work that I want to do. And 2-3 weeks after I came back, I had the worst 2 years in that business. Luckily, right, found a way to buy a competitor, recovered, sold it, but I knew that entire time while I was running and fixing that business that this is the one I would absolutely get into.
Have you found that this is also the most lucrative for you, or does that not matter because you love?
No, I think it matters because I've always talked to people about there's people that say I'm going to go do what I love, or I love nonprofits, and they don't ever pay me well, but I love it so much. And I've said, if you leave a piece out of balance, it's just always going to hurt you in some way. And so the model that I used to talk about for years is, you've got to do something that you love, and you've got to be good at it, and it's got to pay well enough, whatever that means for you. About 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and just in light of the world and watching what people do and the impact that they have, I've added a fourth dimension to that. So it's really moved from, something you love, you're good at it, it pays you well, and it's not that it has to do something good for the world, it's that it can't do something damaging. I think you have to add that last piece. Otherwise, you could be good at something that you love that pays you really well, and it just destroys some aspect of community or the world or something. And so I think you have to have an awareness of that last piece. But this business pays very well, and I love it very much, and it's something I can do forever. That's the beauty of it, because one of the other things coming out of the technology industry is our marketplace was technologists, computer network technicians for the most part, and so that's who you sold to. This business for me was very well thought out, because I thought, what's something that I love? And at the time it wasn't, and I'm going to be the trainer or the speaker. That was not in my original plan. I envisioned working with and bringing in other trainers, but I realized at some point that I fell in love with it. That was a big part of the direction that I wanted to go. Yeah, so what I recognized is instead of just selling to people in the computer industry, I stepped back and said, what is something that I could sell to anybody at any level in any organization? And even if they're not in an organization, I could probably sell it to them as well. And there's something so universal about psychological type and people wanting to understand themselves and interact better with each other. Some of these sessions we deliver are for developing leaders, and I'm selling it to CEOs. Sometimes it's a HR manager, training and development manager, but my wife and I offer the same program through our church. We call it Marriage in Full Color. We do a lot of CEO spouse retreats just to help couples interact and come together in better ways. It's something that I can now offer to anyone, meaning our market size is unlimited. And the marketplace repopulates itself faster than I could ever hope to get at, 0.00001% of that market. So it's absolutely got unlimited potential.